Hey y'all, Super X here, and today I want to go over a bunch of things, a few things that are important about your Rios mod. Let's start with the one my man Rain Man always brings up, cutting the inverted notch in the feed tube. Let's start with that. This mod has the new contacts and the new connector. I should say the new connector. Obviously it has new contacts. With the new connector, I would just rip that hose off there. But let's assume that you maybe don't have a new connector. You have an older mod or whatever, and it doesn't have this new. You could identify the new 510 connector by the fact that it's stainless steel. It's hard to explain, but one way to identify it is your hose is connected beneath the dowel and it just rips off. But let's assume for this video purpose that whether you had a new or old connector, how do you cut that inverted V that you hear Rain Man tell all the new Rio knots? Let's show you. Got a little black background working here. Let's see if I can even zoom in a little for you, because you'll want to see the whole deal in its entirety. Now, I learned this method from my man Filthy Beast. I was cutting it with scissors. You can do it with scissors, but I'm going to recommend you against it because you cut much more better of an inverted V with an X-Acto. Now, I've got my real X-Acto here. I don't have my wife's little golden Ginsu deal. I've got a real X-Acto. She's going to make you a little cut like that straight through. Turn this hose. No rocket science here. And there you will see the legendary inverted V. Then you just put your bottle back on and you are good to go. Alright guys, Super X here again. I have an older Rio Grande here, but I'm going to use for this purpose of teaching and demonstrating contact maintenance, how to clean the contacts. I have one that basically showed setting up a brand new mod, but let's assume you have an older mod that may or may not have the new 510 connection installed. May or may not have. The cool thing about with the new 510 connection, I saw Rob G was one of the guys. Many people are going to ask this question. I'll show you later that hose, you just rip it right off there, okay? I don't even have to show you. It rips right off. So let's get into what we were talking about. Now, I just washed this mod out. I washed it in the sink with very hot water. When I did that, obviously, I had this off here. I pulled it off, the bottle and the hose. So I just put it back on. So we want to kind of talk about cleaning this positive contact and why you want to maintain that. What's important? Two things are important. One, don't take your only mod apart and go about doing this stuff, because you can get frustrated. And I'm an impatient person to begin with, but when you get frustrated, you tend to rush and you tend to not do things right and you tend to mess them up. Always have something to vape. I don't care if your other mod isn't a Rio. It should be soon if it isn't yet, but always have something to vape. Like anything else you're doing in life, when you do anything vape related, have something to vape. So you can sit and chill. What you're going to need for this is alcohol. I have this in a little dropper bottle. And then we're going to get under the spring. I use a combination of things. I use Noalax under the spring, and I use DeoxIT Gold on the gold portions and the positive pin and the tops of my batteries. We're also going to go through the battery because I think that's an important thing. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. And let's start by this positive contact, how we're going to clean it, to make sure I can get some good light in there for you guys so we can see this. What I use is an eraser first, okay? Just get an eraser. I build, usually it's somewhere between 0.5 and 0.7. This is an eraser. It just looks kind of weird. And I'll just get this thing and rub it on that contact a little bit. Just rub it. I'm pushing down on it. And I'm rubbing it, okay, just a little bit. You're not needing to go crazy with this thing, okay? Do never, ever, ever file these gold contacts. If you have an older mod, I think I have a video on how to do those contacts. But that's it. I rubbed it, okay? There's that contact. Next step, Q-tip, alcohol. Let me get a paper towel to drip this on over here. It's going to get a Q-tip. I'm going to get this alcohol. I'm going to drip it over here onto the tip of this Q-tip, get it nice and wet. And I'm going to just wipe this contact with it, okay? It's no big deal. Again, you're just wiping it. You're going to keep it clean. You want to keep your mods clean, guys. Girls, chicks, dudes, hombres, women, keep them clean. Keep that contact nice and clean. If you clean it often, you will find that, and then we're going to clean batteries and everything next. I have a battery. We're just going to go through that. So there you go. That contact is now nice and clean. While you have your little alcohol on your Q-tip, you could swab around your spring. But I want to go one step further. We're going to go into, now, this might apply for people whether you have a brand new mod or an older mod. You want under that spring to be clean. You want the screw to be clean. So let's do this. I'm going to take this bottle off here. New hose is a little bit, you got to pull it, which is cool, but putting it back on, you just wet it and it goes back on. That's a hot swappable hose in the new one. There's no need to do any tools, the new connector. So let's go ahead and do the spring while we're at it. Phillips head screw. You want a driver that has some good grip on it. You're just going to put it in here, turn this. So this is a black wrinkle mod. And there's your screw. Don't lose your screw. You will be bumming. And there's your spring, okay? Now look, there's some crud underneath the mod. Look at that. Most of that crud is Noalax. So it's time to clean it. So you can see that I've taken on a black wrinkle. Now again, I'm probably an over-the-top freak, but I like to get maximum conductivity out of my mods. So I sanded off the finish under the spring. I did it with a fine grit. You don't want to groove the heck out of that because that's going to defeat the purpose. But because it will probably have a little more grooving, it's not a flat, perfectly flat surface. That's why I use Noalax here. I do not use Noalax on the rest of my contacts. We're going to put all the Noalax on the spring and everything when I get done. So we're going to wipe this out here real good. Get all that old gunky Noalax out of there. That's the reason I hate Noalax. It's some nasty, greasy stuff. But I do believe it has its purpose underneath the spring. I think that's where Noalax belongs. Now I'm going to get some alcohol. Here, I'm working kind of around a camera, so I got to kind of do things a little differently. Put a little alcohol down in there and just wipe it out real good. And that's it. You know, that surface should be really clean. Now when I sanded that off, I did not get completely crazy. You'll see that there's some paint there, but the main area of contact around the spring has been sanded. Again, was that necessary? I don't know. But I know I wanted it to contact bare aluminum, and it does. Okay, so that's that. Now what we're going to do is, this spring just has a little Noalax on it. Here is the Noalax. Now what I've done is I've sort of engineered me a little system of holding a little, this was one of those dropper things that come, so I cut that part off of it that you squeeze, and I use this part to apply Noalax. So I'm going to get me a little Noalax. Now this has never, I don't think I've ever done this on camera, so this could be a messy procedure. If messes bother you, you might want to turn off the camera now. That's again why I hate this stuff. But I'm really just busting your chops. It's not that messy, but I'm just putting a little bit of this stuff here in the hole, and that's it. That should help. I was putting that in the wrong place. That should help stick that spring back in there too. Now putting in the spring is always something that it's not a hard task, but I just dread doing it because I quite frankly suck at it. It's much easier to put in your spring when your bottle is not in. All I do is I put it in there, I line up the holes. With the Noalax, it makes it a little more difficult to line them up, and I saw it. I see the hole. There it is. Now I just press down on the spring. Get this, put it here, back in there. I've heard talk of putting Noalax in the threads. I think when my screw grabs, it should. And I have a feeling that I'm not getting this time because I just, wow, that is not like me to get that on the first time. So now you're going to make sure your spring is nice and straight. I get to be a little stickler about that. This time I'm going to make sure it's done a lot quicker than it has been in my previous videos because I know nobody has time to waste watching this crap. You just want to get your mod ready. So just hold it down real good. Get your finger behind it there. And Look at me wrestling with this thing like it's... I'm just going to challenge you. Stick a tripod and a camera between you and what you're doing and see if you're the sumo you think you are too. There you go. Spring, you want it to be nice and tight. Not so tight that you go crazy, but nice and tight. There you go. That should do it. Okay, so this is your negative connection. You want it to have good contact, and now we've no-locked it. So what that means is at this point I need to check the hands, get any no-locks off the hands. That stuff is just greasy. It's good there for me. I like it under the spring. That's the only place in my mods. So a lot of people like to run it on their positive contact too. That's great. It's cool. To me, it attracts stuff. It's like it's better than running nothing. I'm going to tell you that right now. You'll need something on there, but it attracts dirt and dust and grime and all that good stuff, which is why you're going to see me going in here with alcohol and cleaning out around that spring as much as I can, so I can make sure that I'm not really attracting any gunk to my mod. All I wanted it was underneath there. Okay, now while I'm in here with this Q-tip, I want to clean the top of the spring, because right here is where we're going to put a little DeoxIT gold from the DeoxIT family of products. I just use gold. I never let my mods get to a point where they need to be cleaned beyond what you've just seen. And while we're doing all this, this mod is in perfect running order over here. I'm just going to grab me a quick vape. Oh, how come they always put this stuff on when I'm trying to do videos? Especially the live version just kills. Okay, so now we got that done. All this other screwdrivers and stuff can get out of the way. These Q-tips done. Now we got our DeoxIT gold pen. It comes in a pen. I shake it up. I'm going to put a little bit on the positive contact. The top just pulls off. Okay, we're going to take the positive contact, see it down there, and we're just going to put a little on. Now, let me show you something about DeoxIT gold. It's not, this stuff is, it's not like, you just need a little bit, and that's it. You can hardly see, you don't even see it going on there. You'll see it better on a battery, and then just rub a little on the top contact of your spring there. Okay, that's it. Killer. Alright, now the mod is good. This mod is good. Now what I brought down here with me, I know I'm a little cheater because I wanted to show you, I'm putting the hose back on here, but I got a bottle that already has some juice in it. I'm not going to need to put that hose on. You could put it on just like that. You know, you just pull it down a little. This hose is wet with VG and Nick base, because that's typically what I'll be vaping. That's the only thing I'd be vaping. You just stick it on here. Now, why am I showing you this? Because once I get this battery done, we'll put it on there, and we're going to observe that you probably will not see any arcing. So that's that. The bottle, now you could just do a couple things. You could either do that, or you can open this and grab it. I know I'm going to have some serious juice finger here, but we're going to take care of that because I got stuff to take care of juice finger. And matter of fact, I'm going to take care of it before I get to anything else here. I don't want juice inside of my mods, around my mods. The only place I want it is in that bottle, in the feed tube, and in that atomizer. Okay, so now we're good, right? We're good. Look at him. The bottle's nearly empty too, half full. Okay. So what we want to do at this point is get a battery. Here's how we clean our batteries. What I do is I mark my batteries. I've noticed over the years, if you try and put like a 1, 2, or 3 or something on the sides, they won't stay. I mark the top with a Sharpie. This would indicate that this is battery number 6 of these 1600s. Okay, you mark them. So we want to clean that battery contacts. I want the contacts nice and clean. And I want to clean my hands too. There. So what we're going to do first is get our eraser. Remember our eraser? And we're just going to erase this contact. We're going to just take it and run it over the top. A little bit here and there. See that? Now if you'll notice, my batteries, I never let them get arced. And I always run, the only batteries you'll ever see me run in a Rio mod is an AW button top. My favorite batteries are 1600s and 2200s. Any other battery may or may not work well in your Rio. I can't tell you, but I know most people have problems with flat top batteries. A couple of reasons why. One, it causes your switch to throw further, which means you just bending that contact more, which is overall lifespan of it is going to be reduced because of that, possibly. I don't know. But AW IMR button tops, some of these have been around longer than others. They all work good. Then I'm going to get my alcohol back out. I'm going to use this paper towel here. Just a nice clean paper towel. Put a little alcohol on it. There. And I'm just going to gently wipe off the surfaces to get all the old DeoxIT off. And any eraser dust. There. Your battery contacts, points of contact are now clean. This one has a little dealio right there. Doesn't look like anything major. It's not a pit. It's just, it is what it is. It's not, like I'm looking at it, I don't see any black marks on it. It's just a little deal. It shouldn't impact anything. Okay, so now what we want to do is put a little DeoxIT gold on the contacts of this battery too. DeoxIT gold says to let it dry. Hey, that was really cool. DeoxIT gold says let it dry. I don't let it dry anymore on my batteries. Now watch. Here you may be able to see the application of it. Now people are probably, maybe anyone that's new to vaping and or new to Rios might be going, wow, you got to go through all that trouble with one of those things. Well, I got news for you. So you can see it on there. Any mechanical mod, any batteries require maintenance. Just that, do people do it or not? That's their call. If you don't do it, it's not going to fire good. A regulated mod may not require this kind of maintenance, but any mechanical mod will, whether it's a tube or not. A Rio offers one the pleasure of being able to see if it arcs or not in there. You could see in there. You can't see in most other types of mods, and I could probably tell you that my mod is not gonna be doing any arcing. Now, probably because there's no load on it, but it's not gonna arc anyway. What I happen to have is a nice, beautiful Odin here to throw on here. But before I do that, I want to go over adjusting the contact. For anybody that is also just got a mod with new adjustable contacts, you're going to want to do everything I just did to this mod. You're also going to need to set up your 510, your adjustable 510 for your atomizer's air holes, okay? Here's how I go about doing it. First thing I do, remember this is reverse threaded. We're tightening this. Hold on, let's just take a quick vape while Sinister Gates gets after it there. Vaping this bad boy right here. Okay, first thing you want to do when you get your mod. This is an adjustable contact. I don't know what size this is. It came with the mod, this little thing here. It just slips right out of this tool. I just put it in this tool. So since it's reverse threaded, to tighten it, you go the opposite of any other. So it's tight now. See, it's tight. If you wanted to adjust it to fit your atomizer on, what I do is I turn it out a full turn, okay? Get your atomizer. Now I'm gonna take the top off, because you don't want to do this with the top on your atomizer, because you'll never get it tight enough. And that's probably why people wonder, wow, my atomizer's moving and it's losing connection. Okay, you got to get it tight, so you can't do that with the top on. You can't do it. So what you're going to do is, I know this is a dual coil, so I'm going to want these two air holes where I want them. So I'm going to tighten it down, okay, to where, let's see where it lines up. Okay, I don't want my air holes in the front and back on a dual coil setup. If that was a single coil there, it might be fine, but it's a dual. So how do we adjust it? Let's get the tool out. Nope. The reverse threaded connector does not require a tool. It is going to require that I wipe it though, because I don't like touching it with all that juice on it. Even though I'm going to still record. Okay, so how do we adjust it? What we do is now we see, look where the air holes are. With it tight, it's tight now. We want our air holes on the sides, okay? So what you do is you just loosen it out and just keep going like this, and ultimately this puppy will get where you want it, because it's as you're going out with it, you're moving that screw in a little bit, okay? So look, it's coming around. The holes are coming around. going to turn Jared down. I don't find him to be as cool as them shadows, and I don't find his band to be as cool. Wait, is this 30 Minutes to Mars? I don't even remember if that is Jared or Leto or whatever his name is. I think he's in Bullet for My Valentine. My bad. Okay, so we got our air holes where we want them now, don't we? Side on each side, right? So we're good. So what we did now what we want to do is give this a good tightening down. This is where you guys are failing and you're wondering why your thing's moving. You cannot do that with the top of your atomizer on because you're going to spin the air holes. Okay. See that? Alright. Now, let's look. I mean, arcing. I know it's a little bit bright in here, but you're not seeing any arcing because we have properly prepared contacts. We have properly the right battery for the mod. And there you go. And this is a 0.6 ohm build. So we're good, right? I think we got everything we wanted to do. Now you've set up your Rio from start to beginning. You've cleaned your contacts, you cleaned your batteries, and we are off to the races. What I'll do is, just because you are you and I am me, I will vape this mod for you. Give a little squonkage here. This bottle being nearly empty, you've got to squonk it a little bit. Okay. Yep. That's it. Contacts are clean. Everything's good to go. We're rocking and rolling. 2 killer mods, cleaned and ready to rock. I hope that worked out for you guys. Thanks for watching. Super X saying, see ya.